Hello everybody, this is Andrea Mercier aka Ann Loam. Welcome to my studio. So yesterday I did a video for, oops, where is that? There it is, the Love Fall art. I will put a link down here or up here for that video, but in that video I talked about coming back and explaining some additional techniques. So I did one this morning on different kinds of paint, and today I'm going to talk about the transfer technique that I used in that video. My technique is just a little bit different, and I thought I would demonstrate it, so warning ahead of time, probably going to be a long video. Anyways, I'm going to get started. I have taken another old canvas that I probably won't use. This was a project that I started years ago. It was supposed to be flowers in a vase, and although I really like the background, I hate the vase, so it's a perfectly good reason to take this canvas gesso. This isn't white, this is actually kind of an off-white color. I don't know where I got it from, but it's going to be perfectly fine for this project. So I'm not going to edit out the heat gun this time, so we're not going to have heat gun interludes like we did in the other video. I'm just going to fast forward through them now that I think I've learned how to do that. Just so that you can see the entire process from start to finish so that you're comfortable. Have my very handy dandy baby wipes. Found my gesso brush that I couldn't find yesterday, and we'll get started. The only thing I wanted to mention is that in my video yesterday I was talking about Mod Podge, and my wonderful friend Rain Phoenix corrected me and said it's not Mod Podge, it's Mod Podge. So my apologies to the Mod Podge company that I've been pronouncing your name incorrectly for at least 42 years now. So although we're not going to be using this product today, I did want to do a little shout out and correct that terminology. Okay, going to use my gessoing brush, and I'm just going to apply. And again, the reason why I use these old canvases is to let people know that you don't have to start with a white canvas or like a brand new canvas. You can take your old canvases that you don't like, that didn't work out, and you can gesso over them and dry them and start fresh. So I have a couple of more technique videos I'm going to do, and I'm going to use this canvas to demonstrate all of them. So today we're going to do the transfer techniques, and then I said I was going to show you how to make your own sprays, and I was going to show you how to make your own three-dimensional paint, and I was going to show you how to glaze. So we're going to use this as our sample for all of those videos. So we won't have to re-gesso at the beginning of the other videos. So another lesson that I've learned from my first video is I'm not going to talk while I'm heat gunning, because I'm going to be fast forwarding it. You're not going to hear me anyways. So heat gun interlude. Heat gun interlude over. So I just wanted you to realize that this is not white gesso, so it doesn't show up white at all on the canvas. It's kind of a unbleached white or a Titan buff. So for gesso, you know when it is dry, when it is no longer cool to the touch. Gesso dries fairly quickly because of the chalk or chalk-like substance in it that kind of dries it out. It's like a chalk paint basically, except it's has no color normally. So I'm going to put a second coat on, and then we will dry that second coat, and then we will start. If you notice, I'm gessoing in the opposite direction for my second coat. That is just to make sure that I get in all of the canvas texture, so that it covers up as much of that background color as possible. I don't worry about all of that stuff coming off on my craft sheet because I will wipe that off later. There we go. So we just want to make sure that we get a nice coverage, nice enough. I mean, when I'm doing mixed media pieces, I put 17,000 layers on, so it doesn't matter. But for this one, we'll be putting on layers over the course of several videos, so it'd be nice to have a nice fresh start. There we go. So I'm happy with that. I'm going to dry it. Heat gun interlude. Heat gun interlude over. Alright, so this layer I want to make sure, oh, it's still a little bit hot, and I dumped a little bit of water on there, so I want this to be really dry so that when I start ripping up my my transfer and using water on it, it doesn't pull it up. So for the drying of that, I'll probably click the camera off and let it dry by itself for a good 15-20 minutes, and then I'll turn the camera back on, because fast forwarding me sitting here twiddling my thumbs is just boring for everybody. Alright, so we now have a substrate that is primed and ready to go. So I'm using gloss gel medium, and that is what I used in college. You can use matte gel medium, or what's also called matte medium. You can use Mod Podge if you wish. I found I got the best results from a gloss gel medium, and usually whatever I'm transferring on is one of the top layers, unless it's got a lot of texture, because then that's hard to do. So, but generally the sentiment or whatever I'm doing is going to be the top layer, so I like to use the gloss gel medium just because then my final top layer is glossy. That's me. You can do whatever you're comfortable with. So I've printed my transfer in reverse because it's letters. There's other ways of doing this where you don't have to reverse the print. Obviously for images you don't have to reverse the print. And one time I'll show you how to do this on tissue paper so that you can print it the right way, and you would actually not transfer it, but you'd like Mod Podge it in or attach it with matte medium or gloss medium directly on it. But this is the transfer technique that I'm showing you now. So I'm just gonna, I shouldn't rip and talk at the same time. I outlined it with a box so that you'd be able to see how good a technique this is, because you won't be rubbing away the box. In a lot of other techniques, thin lines like that would not survive the paper removal process. So let's just cut this out the lazy way. Now, this summer when I was at the Maryland Art Weekend with Patty Tolley Parrish and Paula Phillips, Paula did a transfer technique with packing tape. I also know that Lindsay, the Frugal Crafter, also has a method for doing that. So I will also show you that technique sometime, maybe on this practice canvas that we're doing, by the way, which is a canvas board or a canvas panel that's 9 inches by 12 inches. I get them at Michael's for, I think a pack of 10 is like $5 or $6 when I use my coupon, or at when they have the sales. So here is the sentiment that we're going to attach. I have a nice brush. It is a nylon brush, just so that I get a smoother coat, as opposed to with a bristle brush which leaves bristle strokes. So I'm just going to put it here. So I just put down a nice amount, and you put it face down, like so. Make sure it's straight. I mean, today it doesn't matter, but on other days it will. And I either use a credit card or I have this cool Mod Podge tool, and I find this works really well too. It's rubber, but it's got a nice edge on it, and it gives me a nice pressing without being destructive to the paper. And did I get, see, I didn't get enough there, so it's not sticking. I'll put that down. You're kind of burnishing it on, really, if you think about it. Make sure I got that. Oh, no, that corner. There we go. Push that corner on. The most important thing with this technique is not to get the medium that you're using for your transfer on the back of the paper. Otherwise, you will not be able to remove the paper. And that is the most important part, and I think that's on. Is that going? Yep, that's on. Yep, that's on. Okay. I don't need that. Put that in water before it solidifies. There we go. So I'm going to stop the camera. I'm going to let this dry, and then we'll come back and I'll show you how to pull off the paper. So the difference, just before I turn the camera off, the difference between my method and the method I was taught in college and some of the other methods online are, in a lot of cases, they would start pulling now. So before the gloss gel medium, or whatever medium you're using to adhere it, has dried. A lot of them start pulling now, and I was finding when I was in school doing it that I would actually pull up the toner and then I wouldn't be able to get it back down and I would lose parts of my image. So reminder as well, whatever you print on the paper has to come out of either a toner printer or a photocopier. You can't use an inkjet printer for this particular method. I know there's other methods on YouTube where people show you how to use the inkjet. I find that the ink runs because the medium is wet. However, that's just me, so I prefer to use this method. Plus, I have a color printer, toner printer at home, so I can actually do this in colors and transfer the color as well, which is awesome. So, don't get the medium on the back of the paper. Use toner copier or a toner printer and let it completely dry. Try not to use the heat gun. If you're really impatient, do it, but do it very gently because you don't want to heat it up. I find that if I heat it up, I don't get the release of the paper as well. Again, that's me. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so I've waited about 10 minutes or so. One of the great things about using that squeegee, that Mod Podge squeegee, is that it really spreads it out thin so it doesn't take very long to dry underneath. Now, what I was taught was to take it and rip it, and that's how you started removing the paper. I found that when I did that, sometimes it would rip up the image, so I don't do that anymore. So I just take a damp cloth, and like there's no water really left in it, it's just damp, and I just put it down for a second and it starts to moisten the paper, and I just very slowly start rubbing in circles, and you can already see the paper starting to come off. Just very, very gently. There we go. Now, see the paper starts to ball up on my rag, and that's fine. I just move it out of the way, and when it dries, I just vacuum it up. There you go. And see, it's not, see here, I don't know if you can see that. You probably can't because, again, I need to get a different camera. But when I'm pulling on this corner, it's actually pulling the gesso up from the substrate because it's glued on. See, over here too. That's another reason why I don't do the pulling method anymore, that I just do this very gentle rub with the cloth. It takes longer, but I find that I get better results. And then people can actually see my sentiment, and I have nice crisp letters, crisp images, because this is generally the only thing I use this for is lettering, because with things like stamps and stuff like that, I can do it on deli paper or tissue paper, and then I can Mod Podge it on, or use matte medium or whatever. So generally I only use this for lettering and sentiments. See, and right there I was a little bit rough, and it started to take it off. So I'm going to let that part dry some more. Yeah, flip that over. And I know I'm not never going to get perfect results, but what I'm looking for is the best results possible. So I just have to be very gentle, especially, see right here with the thin lines. That was one of the reasons why I printed the box around it. I wanted you to see that you can get thin lines. See right there, I pulled that off. So again, you're not going to get perfect results, but you're going to get, in my opinion, better results than some of the other techniques. Now again, my technique isn't for everybody. There's other people who would really like to have a kind of a ripped, torn, tattered effect to their piece, and that's fine if that's what you're looking for. But if you're looking for a nice crisp letter in a sentiment or in an image, then I say give this a try. The worst that's going to happen is that you're going to have a canvas board. I wouldn't do, sorry, I don't like doing this on canvas unless the canvas is open enough in the back that I can put a book or something under it so that I have something to push against. If you have a canvas that has no support in the back, then you're pushing and you're rubbing, and it can be frustrating. So if you, like, I usually just do this on paper or canvas panels, boards, or on a masonite board or a clay board. If you're going to do this on a canvas, oh, and there I go, I think I just tore it out a little bit. I kind of picked a thin border just to show you how it goes. I would never use a border that thin on a real image, I don't think. I think I know enough from experience now that I wouldn't do that. But I just wanted to show you the results that you could get. What was I talking about? No, I can't remember now. Oh, my brain is getting so old. Alright, so I'm going to stop talking now so that I can fast forward through the rest of this so you don't have to listen to me just babble while I'm doing this. And we'll come back when it's done. Alright. Okay, so I'm right down to the very end here. What I noticed was this corner didn't actually stick down very well, so that's why that lifted. There's a bump here. I can feel it with my finger, which is why that didn't stick properly, because I didn't get a good adherence. And again, this border was very thin. So, but you can read it, and you would be able to, oh, did I pull off the gesso there? Oh, I did, look at that. See, that spot of gesso mustn't have been dried. Sometimes I will just use my fingers when I want to go really light and just take that last little haze of paper off, and you can do that. What you do is, if you're not sure if all the papers come off, just let it dry. You will see a haze over some of the letters where there's still paper, and then you would know that you could go back there and take a little bit more off. And when we're down to the very final layers, I tend to just gently use my damp finger and take it off. See the little, well, you can't because my camera sucks, but I can see that there's little pieces of paper that are still coming off. So there you go, that's the technique. I would, if this was not a top layer, actually even if it was a top layer, as soon as it was exactly the way I wanted it, I would then cover it with a layer of the gloss medium or the matte medium to protect it. So no matter what else I did, if I was doing sprays and was wiping them off, or if I was doing anything else, it would be protected and it couldn't get ruined by any other process that I was going to do over it. So there you go. There's a transfer technique. Let's see where my list is here. So the next one I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to do the 3D paint, only because I need to make some to finish up this project. This is a commission from a very long time ago, and I need to make three-dimensional yellow so that I can put it into the painting and then put some green in it and finish it up. So we'll do that next. We'll make some three-dimensional paint. So if you like this video, give it a thumbs up or subscribe using the little button. If you are a paper artist, go see my video for my paper haul. I have divided it all up into little swatches, and if you send me an email at happymailrequest@annalone.ca, I will mail you a 2-ounce or 500-gram envelope full of samples to anywhere in the world, including international people. So thank you very much. Have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye!